Today I'm going to show you how to work with Adobe's Creative Cloud Libaries to build a shared asset database that you can use across multiple Adobe applications, such as InDesign, to create a cohesive aesthetic. This is super useful if you're working on projects where branding and consistency is important. Assets like logos and color schemes can change over time, and using a central database like Creative Cloud Libaries means everyone on your team has access to the most up-to-date files. Let's start with the basics. With Creative Cloud Libaries, you can collect assets, things like color palettes, character styles, logos, or icons. Pretty much anything you can create in an Adobe program can be stored in libraries. And a library can contain up to 10,000 assets, so you probably won't run out of space. You can also organize and share these assets. You can build separate libraries based off of different brands, products, or clients, and then you can share these libraries with your team members so everyone has access to the same materials. And every time you make updates to an asset, you can add those to your library to create unified designs, websites, brochures, and more. You can also access Creative Cloud Libaries with a broad variety of not only Adobe programs, but other third-party apps, such as Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Teams, and Google Workspaces, Frontify, Zapier, and much more. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use these assets in Adobe's InDesign. InDesign supports a handful of library asset types, such as colors, color themes, paragraph styles, character styles, and graphics. Some assets, like brush styles and layer styles, are not supported in InDesign, but you might see them in other applications like PowerPoint or Illustrator. So to add assets to a Creative Cloud library in InDesign, first you're going to go open up InDesign to a file that you're actively working on, and then come up here to Windows. Select Creative Cloud Libaries, and that should open up the library panels to the side here. Once you're there, you can create a new library, or you can use a library that already exists. Everybody has My Library automatically added to their Creative Cloud system. So we're going to open that first. To add an asset to a Creative Cloud library in InDesign, you want to open up the library and then add in a file either through what's already on your page or from your Windows Finder. So let's say we want to add something like this. We can just add it here over into your library. You can also add in elements that are already existing on a page, such as this background image. If you select it, then you come down here to the bottom corner and click the plus sign. And you can extract image or extract something from an image, like a color scheme. You can get a stroke color if there's a border, a graphic. You can select text and pull from that the text itself, character style, paragraph style, and much more. So we're going to first add in this graphic, and as you can see, it's going to end up right here in the Creative Cloud Libaries. And then we're also going to add in this text right here, and we're going to go specifically for the paragraph style, and you can see that got added here. One more thing that we can also add really quickly is if you take any image, you can extract different things from the image, such as color schemes. You can also pull shapes. It's going to do its best to identify those shapes depending on what image you have, and you can have type. But for now, we're just going to do color themes, and we can select different moods so that it pulls different color types. And we're going to go with muted here and save that to Creative Cloud Libaries. And as you can see, it's going to show up over here to the side. Next, we're going to use these Creative Cloud assets, something that's already been added, and add them to the document itself. I've already created several frames, and so all we need to do is add them in. So we can just drag them in like this, and they pop in pretty seamlessly. Get this one icon there. So we have a few different options that come with these blocks that we've added in. Another thing that we can do with these is when you have a shape or a photo, you can edit them and they'll have them update in real time. Say, for example, we want these two to match the rest of the icons with this really dark black color. You can click on the elements either in the document itself, or if you come over here to Libraries, if you click Edit, it's going to pull up the Illustrator file or whatever file that it's originated in. These are specifically SVGs, so Illustrator is its default program to read these. But then you can click on them and you can edit the color, recolor artwork, and you'll get this color scheme here. You can say we want it to go black. Let's save it, and as you can see over on the side, it reloaded and automatically updated. Let's do that real quick with the microphone here. We come down here, we edit the original. It's going to pull up the InDesign file. We're going to just edit the color. And we're going to make it black. We can also make it different colors like red, green, anything that we really want. In this case, we do want it to be black in order to fit the aesthetic. And as you can see, it just updated. Something else that you can do with these elements is, now that we have a color scheme here, we can actually select an element like this, click on the scheme there, and it will update the background. So that's another way that we can help bring in more of a cohesive structure with these different elements. For now, we'll just want that to be white. So to update text, we've added in, as you can see, a variety of different text. So we're going to select it and say, oh, I want it to be this bold heading. And it's as simple as either selecting the box or the text itself. And suddenly we have a pretty complete document. Now, when we're working with multiple documents at a time, what we want is to be able to use these same items consistently over different documents. So if you open up a different document, you can still access the library because those are across your accounts. So you can still have these same elements and these same icons. And as you can see here, if we make any changes back to this document here, make it green again, that's going to update across both of those documents. That's just one of the ways that we create the cohesive aesthetic, just by making those edits to that original file. And it's going to just affect any of those linked documents. Something to also note is when you add in these images or other linked assets, you can see right here that it has a link icon. This means that it is added to the Creative Cloud library rather than being an embedded file. In order to check that, come up here to Windows and then down to Links. And you can see here, if you hover over the different file types, it's going to say where it's located, which is this Creative Cloud Libraries, versus something like this item right here, which is just an embedded document, or an embedded file, which I just simply added. which I can also add simply by clicking on it and pressing this plus down here and graphic. And just like that, it's added in. If you wanted to have it switch it out for a different file that was already added to the Creative Cloud Libraries, I find it easiest to select the image itself, leave the frame, but delete the image, and then drag into the frame. This makes it so that it is already pre-formatted and it just fits what's already existing. That's a good way to kind of get everything cohesive. One thing to note is that while you have access to these files and assets across the different accounts, please make sure that only one person is making edits at a time to avoid overwriting someone's work. Adobe doesn't have real-time collaboration tools like Google Workspaces, Google Docs, or Canva. Instead, if you want to have multiple people work on the same files, make sure you are fully saved and you have exited the application before having someone else take the reins. We did have an issue beforehand where somebody was in the documents and it actually corrupted the file at some point. So just make sure that you clear that out and only one person work on these. But once you're out, somebody else can open it up and you all should be able to work pretty collaboratively no matter what computer, no matter what page you're on, across, as long as we have that shared library system. But that's all for today. Creative Cloud Library is a super fun way to keep your projects organized and consistent, especially when switching between multiple users and documents. Here are my references, and thank you for watching.